the vaccine.
Yeah, I agree with you with social media. We tend to instill fear in people and talk about the negative. An example of that is the California nurse that received the vaccine 6 days ago and then came down with COVID. We'll talk about that one case that might have a lot of, outliers that we are not aware of. Um, and the fact that the second vaccine wasn't given yet, we'll take that one case, that one incident, and
Hmm.
everyone will talk about that versus, the 15 or 17,000 people in my healthcare system alone that have been vaccinated already. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And not only that, trusted sources.
yes,
Not
yes,
everyone who makes a video and put it online can be trusted. And so, for the lay audience, that is not something that they initially think about. So, they take everything or every video or information that they see for face value. Um, and that's another thing that we need to instill in our communities, that we need to get this information from trusted sources. We can't just have, because Tom can be trying to go viral and get a million hits. So he might say, "Oh, I took I took the COVID-19, and this is what happens to me." Another thing that we need to consider, Liz, as you stated when Dion asked, "Did you have a drink?" I was going to just add to that. A lot of times, maybe those who are getting the vaccinations should be told not to take any substances, so they won't say, "Oh, I had a side effect. I was dizzy. I was this." No, maybe it was the alcohol you were drinking.
yeah,
That did not go well with the vaccination, because it is medication, kind of, sort of. So those are other things to consider when these vaccinations are being given, that we can do small information sessions for those who are receiving it or who have questions about getting the vaccination.
yeah. That's a very, very solid point. I would say that is a really good message to spread when we all talk about the vaccine. Absolutely.
But I'm not sure what Tucker Carlson said, but I read an article that he's sending misinformation, and he is a trusted person, as Dr. Carr mentioned, by thousands, even millions
Oh,
of
wow.
people.
Who is
You
he?
know, Tucker Carlson of Fox News.
And
Yeah.
so the crazy part is, this is why, and Liz, this is your area. You're actually in Dion as well. All of us are educated people who have taken classes in college, and we know that, what do we use? We don't just go from one person given information, but usually we like peer review articles, peer reviewed information, not just something that I find and someone else did not verify or confirm or contest that information. So, trusted can be used a little loosely because someone is familiar or have been trusted in the past, but we should make sure that that information has been reviewed several times, and the data have been not only crunched by one person, but more than one person, to make sure that
Yeah.
information is accurate.
But we have to also remember that some of the people that is listening to Tucker Carlson, and when I say trust, I mean trust. I'm not even using the word loosely. They
Mm-hmm.
actually trust him. And, for a person that is trusted, they should really
Be cautious.
be sending the right information out there.
Sure, because you have a responsibility to send the right message, to say things that you can back up. And in this case, I think that he said something a little too soon. It was December 18th, and that was the first few days of when people were giving out the vaccine. So sometimes people just have to wait and see, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and not jump to you know a
To be the
hypothesis of
first.
what they feel
To
and what
be
they
the
think is
first.
happening. Yeah,
I want to be the first to say it so I can
yeah,
be the one looked at as the hero. But you're the
yeah.
first to give out false information because it wasn't verified.
Yeah.
So we're joined also now. Someone just jumped in. Lincoln from Florida. Say hello, Lincoln, to everyone. Are you there, Link?
I think he's on mute. Hi, Lincoln.
Lincoln's on mute.
Yeah, he is on mute. Maybe he can unmute and say hello in a few minutes. Maybe he went to the kitchen.
One
To
of
get some of your banana bread.
yes, I wish. Oh, why did he send me a picture? I was so devastated. My
Well, he didn't drive to your house for Thanksgiving, for your Thanksgiving drive-through, so why would we expect banana bread? But Dion, banana bread packages nicely, and maybe you can use some of that dry ice in the COVID-19 vaccine to repackage your banana bread up and send it to Dr. Carr.
Imagine that.
That's what the Christmas rush is over, so it'll get here in 2 days. It'll still be good.
Yeah, it'll be on time.
So one of the things that I wanted to point out while we wait for Mr. Harper to join in is what should we expect? We should expect an influx of health students. I read an article on Google. I wish I would have saved it, but it was a huge article about how the percentage of health students have increased significantly since the COVID-19 virus. So many people just want to have their hand in making a difference in changing and transitioning from different areas of study into health. So that is something we should be thinking about, as well as my department at the college where I teach. We know and we have seen a big influx of new students who are, even though other departments have seen a decline, the health department has seen an increase where we had to add additional classes for new students into the college. So that is something to keep in mind. We're going to see a lot of students who are joining and coming into health because they want to make a difference. This COVID-19 have caused them to maybe lose a loved one, or they have that experience themselves, and so they want to make a difference in health. So they are actually applying to be health students. Another thing to keep in mind is mental health have increased. Mental health issues have drastically increased. So we should keep in mind with that as well. Depression and anxiety among students have increased significantly because it's overwhelming. I remember before, people used to believe that if you did classes online, it really wasn't that significant of a class, or really wasn't that hard, until so many people are realizing that face-to-face interaction in the classroom setting is very significant. You can feed off of your peers and gather information from those. Ask one question, even as an instructor. Before, I can answer one question in the classroom and I answered 10 students' questions, but now I'm receiving email back to back to back asking the same thing. So it's very overwhelming. And sometimes I have to push back and say, you know what, I need to take a break because I'm spending so much more time at work than I'm required to.
Sure,
I
and you know
think
what?
that this is
I was going to say, as an online student, I can just imagine. I'm sending emails at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 noon on my lunch. I can only imagine as a professor, an instructor, that you're getting bombarded with all these emails at 24 hours, seven days a week. So it's a very interesting perspective to hear.
But Liz, did your teacher ever reply to you?
When the semester was over.
Wow.
But I did reach out to other students, and I realized that, hey, you know what? I was the loud one to speak up and say, I can't find this information. This assignment doesn't exist. There's no link. There's no resource for me. And it turns out that it was never posted. And many students didn't know. They just were not going to do anything. So I ended up getting credit for it because I reached out and actually said something about it not being posted.
In the defense of your professor, not that they responded after the semester, because I keep in mind that I check my emails when at my best. My mental best is usually in the morning. I have all these extra brain cells running early in the morning, so that's the time I usually change. But this is, like you said, Liz, this is also new for instructors. We have to remember many of the instructors who are teaching are older and they're not used
Yes.
to running things online.
Yes.
So
Very
it's
true.
like they're overwhelmed. They're trying to figure it out. I actually had a link that I told an assignment that I forgot to post a link this semester, but when I received it from one of my students, because I usually check often, but I just made, I'm familiar with technology. A lot of the professors aren't. And
Yeah, and you know what too? That is a great comment because I realized there's too many ways to send a message and it should be streamlined. So if I just have to check one message board or one email, that's good. I can get all my messages there, but we can leave a message on the Blackboard, on the discussion board, on the email on Blackboard, and email separately. So that's 3 or 4 places that this professor or instructor now has to look and actually respond back. So I would imagine it's very overwhelming.
that is absolutely in one of my pet peeves, and my students, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. And I wish my students were here on this podcast. But I do not accept if I create a place and a space for an assignment to be submitted or for a conversation to take place, that's where I expect it to be for the sake
Yes.
of mental health. It's
Yes.
confusing. Where do I look? There's so many options. And so things are closed at a certain time to avoid extending or just being lost in conversations when new conversations are made to be had. So it great point. Great point. Do not send me your assignment when I clearly created a place on Blackboard for you to upload it. That's where it
So,
needs to be, not in my email.
so, so the
Yes.
podcast talks about 2021. It sounds like you guys are looking forward to class getting back to regular
Dion,
sessions.
Dion, we love that you always pull us back into the center.
No. We're talking good things. Maybe instructors that hear this for 2021, be more specific.
Yes, be
Where
specific. My professor is also an attorney and a mother. So I imagine that she is just as busy as I am. So
exactly.
I'm gonna cut her a break. I got an A plus. I maintained my GPA, and I'm really happy. But I'm more happy to have a break at the end of 2021. I can say goodbye, and happy to ring in 2021
Out with the old and with the new.
and with the new.
So
Dion,
we,
what are you
so
gonna
we,
say goodbye to and hello to? What are you looking
well, I'm going to say goodbye to our wonderful President Donald Trump
Oh,
and hello to a new administration. I'm looking forward to it. I am exhausted of this old administration.
absolutely. Ditto.
Well,
Um,
hopefully, some of Dr. Carr's students now entering the public health sector. Hopefully, we'll have some more people that are just as tired of old and current administrations, and hopefully, we can get some new politicians that actually care
but
about
good
people.
good point, Liz, because that's part of another comment I was going to make. It's not even just about one particular person. It's some of these politicians that's been in office for so many years, Republicans, Democrat, Independent alike. Um, we need to refresh new people, new blood, new thinking, new way of thinking. Some
Yes.
people that actually sees